opening up the penile vessels, literally widening the veins and arteries of the penis to force more blood into the tissue. How can you actually achieve this? How can you make that happen without using any medication, without taking pills, and without relying on injections? I'm talking about doing this right at home, by yourself, using strategies that force your body to direct more blood flow exactly where you need it. I am talking about this because you need to understand one fundamental truth: an erection is simply the arrival of blood. That is the equation. Erection equals blood volume. If more blood arrives at the penis and stays there, you have better, stronger, and more vigorous erections. Period. So, stick with me until the end, because you're going to learn 3 specific, low-invasive ways to mechanically and physiologically increase the blood supply to your penis. These are things you can start doing today. It is crucial that you understand the mechanism behind the erection. It is primarily a vascular phenomenon. Yes, it is hormonal too, but the mechanics are vascular. You need the sexual stimulus, which is why having adequate testosterone levels is important, so you actually feel that desire, but that stimulus is just the spark. That spark sets off a series of chemical reactions that result in the release of vasodilators within your blood vessels. Specifically, the cavernous arteries dilate. When they open up, a rush of blood floods the sponge-like tissue known as the corpora cavernosa. This tissue swells, it expands, and that is what gives you rigidity. That is what allows for penetration and a healthy sex life. Now, we know there are men suffering from erectile dysfunction, the inability to get or keep that erection. For those cases, we have medical treatments, pills like tadalafil, injections, or even implants. But what I am talking about today is what you can do in your daily routine. This applies to you if you have mild ED, but it also applies to you if you don't have any problems at all. Why? Because you want to prevent these issues. You want to optimize your hardware. By applying these techniques, you ensure that you don't develop issues later on, and you potentialize what you currently have. You are essentially clearing the pipes and upgrading the pump. Let's get into the 3 forms. The first method is the most accessible. You can do it anywhere, and it is entirely internal. I am talking about pelvic floor exercises. There is a significant amount of data on this. We aren't just guessing. Multiple studies, particularly those focused on men recovering from radical prostatectomy, surgery where the prostate is removed, show the power of this training. After that surgery, men often go through a period with 0 erectile function. It takes time to recover, but the studies show that men who actively train their pelvic floor recover faster and have better blood flow than those who don't. Why does this work? It's about blood recruitment. Working the pelvic floor muscles demands oxygen and nutrients, which means your body has to send more blood to that specific region. You have a major artery down there called the pudendal artery. This is the main highway for blood in the pelvic region. It runs through the perineum, that area between the scrotum and the anus. When you work the pelvic floor, you are increasing flow through the pudendal artery. And guess what? The penile arteries, the cavernous arteries, are branches of that main highway. If you bring more traffic to the main highway, more cars can exit onto the side streets. The most famous version of this is the Kegel exercise. It is essentially an elevation of the pelvis, or the sensation of trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. To get real vascular results, you need a protocol. You can't just do it once in a while. I recommend a standard protocol of 3 sets of 15 repetitions every single day. But here's the key: you need to do a peak contraction. When you squeeze that muscle, when you elevate the pelvic floor, hold it. Hold that tension for about 5 seconds before releasing. If you do this consistently, you get 2 massive benefits. First, you gain better control over the muscles that regulate ejaculation. Second, and most importantly for our topic today, you recruit blood to the corpora cavernosa, improving the quality and hardness of the erection. It is a simple exercise, but the technique matters, so if you are unsure, it's worth looking up a guide or talking to a specialist, but generally, it is very safe to start at home. The second way to open up those veins is something many men neglect: training your legs. You need to train your lower body. I mean heavy, compound movements. There are 2 distinct biological reasons why skipping leg day is destroying your potential for maximum erections. The first reason is hormonal. We know that training large muscle groups, your quadriceps, your glutes, your hamstrings, stimulates the body to produce more endogenous testosterone. These are the biggest muscles in your body. When you stress them, the hormonal response is significantly higher than when you just train your biceps or chest. More testosterone means higher libido, which means a stronger signal to start the erection process. The second reason is hemodynamic. It's about fluid dynamics. Just like the pelvic floor exercises, doing exercises like squats, lunges, or deadlifts recruits a massive amount of blood to the lower half of your body. You are forcing circulation through that same pudendal artery system we talked about. Think about a heavy squat. The amount of blood required to fuel your glutes and quads is enormous. By consistently training these areas, you are building a more robust vascular network in the pelvis. You are keeping those arteries flexible and clear. So, if you want to ensure blood reaches the penis, you need to make sure blood is flowing aggressively to the entire region. Don't just be an upper body guy. Squat. Deadlift. It acts as a vascular flush for your reproductive system. The third and final form is often misunderstood, but it is highly effective when viewed as physical therapy. I am talking about the vacuum erection device, commonly known as the penis pump. Now, put aside the jokes or the idea that this is just for trying to enlarge the penis. Think of this as physiotherapy for your smooth muscle tissue. Here is how it works. You place the flaccid penis inside the cylinder. You create a seal against your body. Then you use the pump, whether manual or electric, to pull the air out of the tube. This creates a vacuum or negative pressure. Physics takes over. That negative pressure physically forces blood to be drawn into the penis to fill that space. You will produce a full erection inside the tube. Even if you are completely flaccid, the pump will create rigidity. It is important to understand a physiological nuance here. The blood you are pulling in with a pump is largely venous blood. It is darker. It has less oxygen tension than the bright red arterial blood from a natural erection. However, for the purpose of tissue health, the expansion is what matters. You are forcing the corpora cavernosa to expand. You are stretching the tunica albuginea, the fibrous sheath that surrounds the erectile tissue. This is crucial because if you don't have regular erections, that tissue begins to atrophy. It loses elasticity. It creates fibrosis. By using the pump, you are essentially doing gymnastics for your penis. You are ensuring the tissue remains elastic and capable of expanding when you do have natural sex. The protocol I suggest for vascular health is simple. Use the device for about 10 to 15 minutes. You don't need to do it every day. Every other day is sufficient. You get in the tube, pumped until you are erect, leave it for a few minutes, release the pressure, and repeat. This cycle of expansion and contraction keeps the tissues healthy and trains the veins and arteries to accept blood volume. Now, while these physical methods are powerful for clearing the pipes, there is a biological way to supercharge this process that takes just 7 seconds a day. There is a specific, natural purple tonic that targets the root biochemical cause of ED, a boner killer enzyme that blocks blood from entering the penis, no matter how much you train. If you want to see exactly how this natural remedy works to restore rock-hard erections without the side effects of pills, I found a short video presentation that explains the science behind it. You can watch it right now by pointing your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen, or just click the link I've pinned at the top of the comments section below. I highly recommend checking that out if you want to speed up your results. But for now, let's bring it all together. To summarize the holistic triad for maximum blood flow. First, use the internal pump by training your pelvic floor to direct blood flow via the pudendal artery. Second, use the systemic pump by training your legs to boost testosterone and pelvic circulation. And third, use the external pump, vacuum therapy, to maintain tissue elasticity and physically force expansion. These are 3 non-pharmacological, mechanical ways to improve your vascular health. Remember, your erection is a hydraulic event. Treat it like one. If you keep the pump strong and the pipes clear, the system works. If you found this information useful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We cover everything regarding men's sexual health here, from testosterone to performance. Share this with your friends who might need to hear it. See you in the next video.